Amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 25. Then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 49. The best roast beef sandwiches and so much more can be found at Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville. And don't forget to pair your selection with freshly fried onion rings or fries for a winning combination. Maverick's is located on Lexington Avenue, a mile south of Highway 36. Visit their website at mavericksbeef.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakken.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakken. Thank you for joining us. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. That's always the important thing, right? That you're able to get some rest, have a good weekend. How is it possible that we go in the Twin Cities with a temperature yesterday of 60-some degrees, and then we get to our high today of like 30-some degrees? It's a 30-degree difference overnight. And I just, it's just Minnesota is something else, isn't it? I mean, it really is. I'm not ripping on it. I've lived here my whole life, which, I'm 27 years old or something like that. And, Minnesota has the greatest weather. You just never know what it's going to be. And I don't know. Chuck in the comments, he's like, welcome to spring. Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, but this is just Minnesota in general. This is just how we operate over here. It's incredible. And I don't know. This week we're going to have on Justin Wenzel. That's going to be Wednesday, talking about storm chasing. And we're gonna talk a lot about that. He's local. We're gonna talk about all of this stuff and get his take on it as well. Incredible. Like I said, I hope you all had a great weekend. I had a really good weekend. Got to spend time with good people and had nice conversations and some drinks and a lot of good stuff. And if you're not able to take some time on some weekends, I'm one of those people that really get bogged into my work. And I don't mean bogged down into it. I just get into it. I'm always planning for the show. I got some other stuff on the side that I'm trying to do. You just kind of forget that there is, other human beings out there. So to be able, folks, make sure you take the time to get out there and hang out with your friends, hang out with the people that you really want to, because honestly, it's next thing you know, you're like 75 years old or something. I don't know. It was really nice. It's nice to get out. Now, granted, I didn't prep for the show at all this week, so I mean, there's that to it. But whatever, right? It's you never would have known if I didn't say it, because that's how professional and flawless I am. I mean, that's you wouldn't know by the fact there's no guest tonight or anything like that. Well, here's what we're going to do. On Friday, on Casual Friday, we talked a little bit about getting some guests from the Meta Parapro on this week, and everyone is so busy because we're getting ready for this big convention in Eau Claire this weekend, that it was just like, what, let's just focus. I'll just talk about it tonight. Let people like Terry, who's putting it on, let him get his last minute stuff together. We'll talk about it. It's going to be all weekend. We're going to be broadcasting, but more importantly, I want you all to come on out and spend the weekend with us as we're talking about the Eau Claire Midwest Metaparacon. This is this Friday, the 11th through the 13th. It's going to be at the Chippewa Valley Expo Center in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And you really do want to come out and check it out. There is a fantastic lineup of speakers that are coming out there. Aaron Sagers, Cody, and Satori. Let's see here. Who else we got here? Patty Negri is going to be there, which is going to be pretty incredible. We also going to have, let's see, I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Jason Haas. He's going to be out there from Ghost Hunters, as well as Sherry DeBenedetti, Heidi Hollis, who I've talked about many times, because every time that we're going to have her on the show, something happens and we don't get her. Joe Frankie, who's been on the program, he's going to be there as he's worked directly with Ed and Lorraine Warren. They kind of raised him, so to speak. Barnaby Jones, Adam Berry is going to be there. So, folks, this is going to be great. It's not far from you at all. Go to metaparapro.com/Midwest Metaparacon. I think if you go to metaparapro.com, it's going to be there anyway. If you click on the ticket, or if you click on the link and you buy tickets, put in your promo code of GhostBox, and you're going to get 10% off of the entrance fees to get in. So you want to take advantage of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. My understanding, and I got to talk to Terry about this, I think we're going to be broadcasting, at least on my Facebook page, throughout the day. It's not going to be an AM 950 page. It's going to be through my page. And we're going to be hopefully getting some people in to talk to me, hopefully get some just people who are attending. Look, what do you think? Are you enjoying yourself? That sort of thing. So we have a lot of good ideas. And so, yeah, as the week unfolds, I'll be able to explain more. But it's fine to watch it, but I'd love to see you out there. So come on out there. If you get tickets, please use the GhostBox promo code, get 10% off. And also stop by, say hello. I'd love to see. I've heard a couple people that I know sent me notes. They said they're going to be out there, and we're going to take a look at some are going to bring some stuff that they've been doing in their own investigations and stuff. Going to be looking at that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, folks, looking for something to do this weekend, Eau Claire is not that far away. It's beautiful, and a lot of great places out there as well. I had spent actually a few years back a number of a great amount of time out there with different people and stuff, and boy, I enjoyed that quite a bit. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, we have that going on as well. I have some other events coming up. I'm going to start talking about those after we get through the Metaparacon, because I don't want to just throw 1,000 things at everybody, because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of great things happening. So check that out. Friday, we didn't get to question of the week because we had psychic medium Rob Gutrow on. He was talking about the messages from Linus. Don't worry, I'm not going to have yet another episode about Linus, but just that whole dynamic. And it really got me thinking over the weekend about stuff that happens to all of us that is kind of like, what are the signs that that somebody, a loved one, and I don't mean that necessarily a pet, but a a friend, a loved one, a parent, that they're trying to get through to you? Do you have those signs? What do those look like to you? Because that is what I'm interested in talking about a little bit today. Because uh, there's just, when we're talking about the Linus stuff, there are some synchronicities to it that happen that happened, but they were kind of separate from each other. Like, stuff was happening, and yet Rob was saying it was going to happen, and I didn't know that they actually happened until, for example, Robert, who lives in my house, he rents the basement. He talked about what he thought was possibly Linus talking to one of his cats, and the fact that Rob had said as such in his letter that Robert didn't know anything about the contents of the letter until he listened to the episode Friday night. I told him about it. I told him if Rob was okay with it, that I would then read it. But Robert had no idea. So and I had kind of, to be perfectly honest, kind of forgotten about that bit until I got to reading it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that actually happened. That's synchronicity. That's a sign. Do you have that with your loved one? Do you have something that is very much a sign that you always think about? Another one that, and I've heard that this weekend, and I've heard this a number of times. What do you all think about dragonflies? And I say it because I've had a number of people who have said dragonflies in particular are the ones that show us, that they're the ones that are kind of the main, like, thrust of signs. And I heard a story this weekend, and it's not my story to tell, but there was another one I remember from a coworker of mine who very sadly lost her son when he was 2. Just absolutely, I mean, and that was a number of years ago now. So, I mean, you can only imagine the amount of time now that has passed. And so, with that, ever since, she has been calling for signs for him to show up, and what she consistently gets, and now she firmly believes that this is him, are dragonflies, and not just dragonflies. Like, if you see one flying, that's him. They're doing specific things. They are doing stuff that she is asking for them to do as kind of like signs. Like, can you, if you're around, can you, have a number of dragonflies on, like, the screen door or something like that. And that happens. And like I said, I find that that the dragonflies seem to be something that is what people see a lot for the signs of their loved ones, trying to give them messages. And does anyone else feel that way? Does anyone else see that? Because it just seems like that in particular, and it's really cool, because what's really nice about that is, first of all, dragonflies are beautiful, right? They're stunning. They look great. And they're not, as far as I'm concerned, they're not super common. I mean, they're out there, sure, but in wherever I go, I don't see a lot of dragonflies. So, to me, that just makes it even more, I don't know, makes it more obvious to me. So yeah, I think that this is just one of those things that, in my opinion, is just kind of one of those great sign things. And I love that. I just really do love that. And I'm curious, what are your signs? And does dragonflies play a part in that? I'm just curious. I don't know. And so yeah, it's pretty incredible. I just kind of looking. I see some people saying that some of my stuff is not going to my stream isn't going to all the pages, even though I'm seeing them and I'm going to the pages. And yeah, absolutely, they're not all there. So I do apologize for those who are trying to watch. It's we use StreamYard, and I don't know if anyone knows what StreamYard is. It's a great streaming, not really software, but a platform that you can stream out, and we use that for the broadcast. We use that out for a lot of things, and there's a lot of great things about it, and there's a lot of stuff on it that I'd just like to, I don't know, strangle people because it's like, why isn't it working? Why doesn't it do what it's supposed to be doing? Because I see it, and I didn't get any error messages or anything. So, but yeah, no, I am not on my own page tonight. I'm on the GhostBox radio page, but I'm not on my own profile. So I don't know. Maybe I'm giving everybody a night off, so to speak. But here's something else. Okay. Here's something else that's really kind of funny about that. First of all, we know it's Mercury retrograde, and that's going to be ending here. Let's see. Today is the 7th. Tomorrow, I believe it should be ending. Thank God. It's been rough, right? But Rob had told me in the reading that Linus is around and he will disrupt technology when you're broadcasting. He said that. He put that in the letter. So perhaps it's Linus as well. And, I mean, Linus always wants me to, he wants me to kind of fail, I think, anyway. So he just wants me all to himself. Courtney says, I tell everyone, even vehicles be funny with retrograde. Well, I think Mercury retrograde, depending on how you feel about it, whether or not you find truth in it or not, is a great excuse for everything. Honestly, I could plow my car through a house. I'm like, it's Mercury retrograde. It's ridiculous how, so many people say. The other side of it could be simply as, I don't know how to use a computer. I don't know how to do simple things, or some days I did something wrong. Either or works. It depends on the, what kind of day I'm having. To be honest, like with the StreamYard stuff, I'm not quite sure what I would have done wrong for it not to work. But, I hate to say it, the older I get, the more even the technology stuff that I would be doing, that I've been doing for decades, start to become almost like, well, is this right? I don't remember. It's like today I had to set the alarm to leave the station, and I put in the code and it didn't work. And I put in the code and it didn't work. And I did it about 4 times. And I went and I went somewhere to double check the code, and I came back and I did the same code. I guarantee you it's the same code, and it worked. And I'm just like, whatever. You get to the point, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. It no longer is a matter of, I wonder why that is. I should investigate. It's more like, who cares? It worked. Get me out of here. That's kind of the way I look at this stuff now. I love it. Carrie in the comments, she says hello, and hello, Carrie. And then, sorry I'm late. You don't need to apologize. It's quite all right. I appreciate you coming at all. I love it. And I also love it. People in the comments will be like, I'll be right back. All right. Well, if you went away, I wouldn't know. And that's not a rip on anyone. It's just, to be honest, if you went to go do something and if you didn't say anything, I wouldn't know. Okay. So I laugh when people say, BRB, be right back, in the comments. When we're doing Myth or Mystery, Miriam and I would laugh all the time because there's a number of people in there be like, all right, well, I'll be right back. All right. Well, okay. I mean, it wasn't like we're talking to you. No offense. We're not talking to you. It's not like you just walked away from us. It's okay. So yeah, I love that sort of online sort of, the I don't know, the etiquette. I don't know what it is, but I enjoy that a lot. That's really funny. A lot of people in the comments tonight saying hello. Folks, put in your comments if you get any sort of signs. Sherry put in, my uncle shows eagles. That's high class, if you don't mind me saying so. That has to be kind of tough. I saw a huge eagle cloud the other night. Also smelled his cologne and come and go. Absolutely. The scents to me are the big ones. That's kind of how I can tell my dad is around. And one of my favorite situations was there is a scent that I always attribute to my father. And it happened the night that he passed. and I get out. I go to my parents because everyone's kind of converged there after the news that my father died. We all converged there, and I decided I need to go down to downtown Minneapolis to where I work to get my computer because I'm not going to be there for a while. So I drive down there. It's about, I don't know, 4 a.m, something like that. Get out of the car. Like, that's Dad. I don't know why, but I said that's to myself. I'm like, that's Dad. And that scent was very strong to me up until his funeral, and it dropped off, but it comes back every once in a while, to the point that I used to date a psychic medium. And we were actually, as it happens, at the Calumet Inn, and we were at a restaurant just away from a really good restaurant that's no longer there, a cafe. And I was explaining this to her about this scent, and all of a sudden it comes in, and she's just like, and I'm just like, that's it. And she's like, oh my gosh. And and then it left in and out, just as Sherry said, come and go. It just went in and went out. And she just looked at me and she's like, that was intense. Cause it just like, he was basically being like, yep, this is it. Here's the scent. And then as quickly as it came, it went away. And that's just how it goes. So put your thoughts in the comments. I'd appreciate it very much. We're going to also get to question of the week from Friday since we didn't do so I can have a new one for this coming week. And then anything else on your mind, put it in the comments as well. We'll talk about it. Let's get to that right now. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakken here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Did you know that spiritual awakening is not all love and light? Surprise! Inner demons, ego deaths, and tower moments are on the horizon. But while life might hand you some harsh lessons, we've got the antidote to soothe your weary soul. Why not try a dragon's bloodbath? Or schedule a Reiki aura repair? With books, herbs, talismans, candles, and more, we put the Shazam in shadow work. Visit Magus Books at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis or magusbooks.com.
The Tilted Tiki, located in downtown Stillwater, helps you get your tropical tiki vibe on with a large selection of fantastic tasting tiki cocktails served in unique and fun glasses, a menu of delicious food ranging from small bites, craft tacos, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget they have live music Wednesday through Saturday nights. Located in downtown Stillwater, the Tilted Tiki is your tropical relaxation restaurant in Minnesota. Visit thetiltedtiki.com. Well, some of those commercials are the right ones to air. Anyway, welcome back to GhostBox Radio at AM 950. My name is Greg Bakken. It's a mess over here tonight, but that's okay. You know, that you just got to go with the punches. You know, out of, I don't know, 300 and some shows, a couple of them are not going to be great, right? So we got to turn that around. Technically, it's out of our control, but let's talk about some good stuff here. In the comments here, we have had a couple conversations about chills, I noticed. And I misread, Courtney, I misread one of the words there. I'm not going to say what I thought it said. My grandma always smelled like armature. I thought it said something else. And my grandma is lilacs. So that's cool. You can always tell when they're coming through. Let's see here. Courtney says, I get energy passing through me a lot. You know, there's a feeling about that. And it's like, who's walking through you, right? I mean, I think there's some of that as well, especially as you say, chills can be uncomfortable. Absolutely. And, you know, have you ever had it when you've had, and this is wrong. They shouldn't be doing this to anybody. When some psychic mediums, they try to read you and you can feel almost like a scan going through your body, and they shouldn't be doing that. But sometimes some do. I remember there was a famous one, or, you know, locally famous one who I had on the show about 10 years ago, and we weren't together, but I could feel that person was reading my energy, and I could feel it kind of from top down. And it's uncomfortable, especially when you know that they're trying to understand what you are or what your energy is. And it's like there's no permission given to that. They shouldn't be doing that, but some do, and that's something that you got to watch out for. In fact, one did it to me, and he was the only person I've ever booted off the show. He was actually out from LA talking about Disney, and he had done that to me once. I could feel that, and I was like, no, that's not how that works. There's always that, once again, the word etiquette. We always have that etiquette of how you treat other people, especially when you have those abilities. So yeah, there's something very interesting about that. Now, Friday, we did not get to question of the week, specifically because we had Rob on, which I was really happy that he gave so much of his time on Friday that he actually thought that he was only going to be on for a segment, and I wouldn't let him go. You know, it's like when you come on GhostBox Radio, it's like a Venus flytrap. You can't get away. And that was what he experienced as it happened. So I enjoyed that a lot. But we had question of the week, and we didn't get to it. So I'm going to do a little bit of that right now. And the question of the week from Friday was, what one mystery have you always wanted to see solved? Is there a mystery out there that you've always wanted to just like, what is the answer here? What is the result? Whether it's a conspiracy or whether it's just some natural thing, you know, what is it that you wanted to see solved, and know the truth on? And I'll be honest, for myself, I think the one that I've always been curious about, and I don't consider myself necessarily following the Catholic faith, but I was brought up that way. And so I really wanted to, I always found the mysteries of the Catholic Church to be kind of beautiful, kind of mysterious. I'm not sure what, you know, what it is. And, and the one that I've always wondered about was the Shroud of Turin. What's the deal? What's the deal with the Shroud of Turin? And we had someone, I'm going to replay this over the next couple of weeks since we're close to Easter. We had a gentleman on who wrote a book about it. And, you know, he certainly has not swayed me on thinking that this is, you know, a false situation. You know, I know that he's pro Shroud of Turin, and I basically am as well. But what is the truth there? Is what we're saying to you, are we looking at something that is truly, even if it's not a higher source that's creating this? Is this some sort of electrical like infusion that put an imprint on the shroud? I mean, it's so interesting to me. So that's what I would really like to know. Let's see here. Carrie says, did they really go to the moon? That's a great question. I think that is fantastic. I would love to know that too. And I don't know if we'll ever find out. The thing that I always struggle with moon hoax stuff is that there is a lot of people who would have to be in on it, or a lot of people who worked in utter ignorance. Both is highly possible, and it's or I mean, I suppose they could have actually gone to the moon. I mean, I guess that is an option too, isn't it? But I mean, this show doesn't really look into that part of it, does it? I find it very interesting, and yet you get a lot of people who are very logical. And like when we had, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. We had a author who wrote about the moon landing, and he was putting forth a lot of arguments. I had a number of people reach out to me with logical arguments as to how it had to be real. And I don't know. I don't know. And the problem is, I think on either side of it, if someone were to come out from NASA and be like, I can tell you, and I shouldn't be talking about this, but I can guarantee this is fake, versus also somebody, the common line is this is real. There's going to be people on both sides who are not going to believe it anyway. So, what can you do about that? Courtney says it looked too cinema. There is something about that, and here I am, I'm not going to be one of those people who is going to be like, well, there's, the lack of this, the lack of that, the shadows this, the shadows that. I don't know. I don't know anything about anything. So, I just kind of look to see, but, there's some key things missing here that I would have loved to have. There was a lot more footage recorded that had apparently just gone lost. And I don't know. It's there. It doesn't help. NASA doesn't help itself by losing footage, by being vague in certain areas. All that doesn't help. Just like I don't know if anybody has taken the time to read through any of the JFK papers that have been released recently. I'm going to bring back on Paul Blake Smith in a couple weeks, and we're going to talk about the papers. I haven't looked at them myself, but knowing that author Paul Blake Smith is, he wrote a very good book about the conspiracy theories of JFK. I'm very interested in figuring out and seeing what he thinks. And my guess is kind of what he had told me when I reached out to him. There's going to probably be a lot of redacted information in there, not even from anything recently, but it's also from way back and redacted over a course of many years. Now, Chuck says, don't tell Buzz Aldrin he didn't go to the moon unless you want a knuckle sandwich. Yeah, he does. And that's just it. I mean, if he's saying he did, I mean, kind of, I don't know. I mean, that seems to be good enough for me in a lot of ways as well. But there's a lot of us, and I include myself in this, are armchair astronauts, armchair NASA specialists, that we know a lot more about the space program than the people who created it. So there is that as well. But Carrie says, that is why I don't trust him. He protests too much. Carrie, are you saying that standing up for possibly the truth could be a sign of guilt as well? I don't know. But it's certainly very interesting, and I don't know if we'll ever have a consensus on that one. But yeah, he what did he do? He punched out the it's not a reporter, but a documentarian, right? That the guy's creating a quote documentary, but he was also getting in Buzz Aldrin's way. He was testing Mr. Aldrin, his patience very much. So, you do that enough, got to look out for the consequences when that happens. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I'd be very interested to know some of that. Yeah, for a documentary. What else did folks say that they were hoping for as far as mystery that they wanted solved? And let me find it here, because I did all this prior. I got it all set up prior to the start of the show, and then now my pages have changed on me for some reason, so they're not here. Let's go. Here's one. Here's a good one. Jeremy, Roanoke. You all familiar with Roanoke Island? I think that's a really good one. I think that's actually one that we should do an episode on at some point. What happened to those people of the Roanoke colony? And I think it's, to me, I personally feel like that's an answer to something that is much more straightforward than what we're probably thinking. But once again, I don't know. So yeah, I think that's a fantastic one. Let's see here. We've got a lot of people that comes in here. Let me just see here real fast. There's one I didn't read from Stacy in the comments. I've always wanted to know about aliens, that it seems like there is a lot more information coming out about them. Yeah, I mean, I think that that has a good chance of having perhaps some clarity. I don't know. I hope so. I think a lot of people are hoping so. And I think, I do wonder if people think like as a group, think as a planet or whatever else, if they put their mind together, even if they're not trying to, but there's a lot of people with some of these subjects on their mind, does that help materialize it? Kind of like a group manifestation. Is that a thing? Can that happen? And because I think, especially with the drones and stuff, I feel like that aliens have been on a lot of people's minds. Now, granted, unless I'm wrong, unless you all see something I'm not seeing, over the past, I don't know, 3-4 months, really, in my mind, since the beginning of the year, we haven't seen any drones, or we haven't certainly been talking about it. We go from everywhere is drones and what the hell's going on to, oh, I don't know. We haven't heard about them. That's weird to me. That's really weird to me. So, and I am one of those people who do believe that the drones are actually man-made, government-made, possibly man-made for certain. They're not alien-based. Some people believe that those are masking alien crafts. Well, maybe. But, either way, it's causing a ruckus. It's causing a stir. So, what is it? So that's something that it's very interesting. Now, I want to do this as far as I'm looking through. I'm seeing some more people putting in the comments. I love it. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead. Let's take our next break. When we come back, I'm going to read some more of last week's question of the week since we didn't get to it. Anything else you want, put into the comments. We're talking about it. It's a Just Greg episode. Lots to get to. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakken here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours, Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakken. We are going to have on Psychic Medium, Refined Divine. Deb is going to be with us. When we have her on Tuesdays, it means that she's going to be talking about some of the experiences that she has. And I love them. They are great. I learn a lot from them. There's no one-question readings tomorrow, so please, if you ask a question for her to do a reading on, we won't be able to get to them. But tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, she's going to be talking about astral traveling, and it's an interesting one for me. I've been very interested in that. I feel like I've gotten close to it, and then it kind of freaked me out a little bit. You don't know what we're talking about? Tune in tomorrow. It's going to be great. Wednesday, we're going to have on Justin Wenzel, as I mentioned. He's a storm chaser. We had him on last year a couple times. We're going to be talking about as we're coming into the new severe weather season, what to do to take care of yourself as much. And something I like to point out that maybe people don't know about, especially as we're talking about people watching tornadoes and stuff. So many of these storm chasers, when they're watching these storms, when they are tracking them and recording them and all that stuff, you're going to find probably the majority of them going to the towns and whatever that have been hit by these storms, and they're going to stick around and they're going to help. They don't just it's not like a trophy thing and they watch and they move on. So many of these groups, they will go into the areas that have been afflicted. They know what to do. They know how to help. They're not getting in people's way. And some will come with already have food and stuff that they go and they help people. So I really want to make sure people understand that, because I myself get a little oh, we're watching these storms and stuff. We're having people who are watching it and they're watching the tornadoes rip through small towns and stuff. But as much as they're doing that, they're not just moving on, following the storm. They're going back, they're helping people. And I just want to make sure that that is very clear for people so that they know that. And then Thursday, we're going to do a replay. Friday, I think I'm going to be live from Eau Claire somewhere. I haven't really talked to anybody about how that's going to work. If I'm doing so, it might just even be in my hotel room. But tune in, because we'll do a preview for the Midwest Metaparacon. And once again, that is April 11th through 13th for an unforgettable experience featuring keynote addresses from renowned speakers, interactive ghost hunts, workshops, and a marketplace of 100+ vendors showcasing products from crystals and spiritual tools to investigation equipment. Whether you're curious about ghostly encounters, interested in metaphysical healing, or passionate about the unexplained, there's something for everyone. Once again, go to metaparapro.com, and there you should be able to see a button for Midwest Paracon. Go there, click it, purchase tickets, use promo code GhostBox to get 10% off. We're happy to see you there. I really hope that some of you can get out there, and if you do, please stop by and say hi. It's going to be, I think, a very jam-packed weekend. We are talking a little bit about our question of the week from last week. We didn't get to it because, and thank you all again for indulging me talking about Linus, because this was a great way of showing how mediumship works, and especially with pets. So you get people all the time, they want to talk about their pets. And I find what people need to do, a couple things. People need to, first of all, not feel self-conscious that you're putting your pet on the same level as you would a family member. I hear that a number of times. I remember when my cat Tasha, which is really my mom and dad's cat, but I was living there when we had her, and then not long after my cat Dave passed, Tasha, my mom found Tasha dead one morning, and she calls and she's crying, and I was like, well, what's wrong? And my first instinct was, did something happen to dad? And she's like, well, I found Tasha this morning, she's crying about it. And she's like, I feel stupid because I'm crying about a cat. I don't think anyone should ever feel that way, because these little friends of ours, they add so much to our lives, don't they? They are always, they're always there when you're at your low, that they're just staring at you. They're smiling at you. They're smiling at you with their eyes, or if they're wagging their tail, if they're panting, whatever it is, their ears are forward, they're nudging up next to you. They're always there to lift you up. So never feel bad that you are putting these animals on the same plane as family members, friends, loved ones, because they are that important. As we talked about Friday, you spend more time with them probably than most of your family, and next thing you know, that they're gone. So there is nothing wrong with having those feelings. Don't suppress that. Don't apologize for that. Live it, because I think when you do, because if you are looking for that spiritual interaction with your pet that has passed, I think you need to be just very honest with your own feelings about it, and I think that will help get that to a better place. Also, I feel like that like there was somebody at Ghost Stories on last Wednesday, and she wanted to call in, about her dog. And I mentioned this on Friday, and she started crying when she was talking about her dog that passed. And I just asked her name, and she gave it to me, and I'm not going to say it on the air, because, and the reason why I'm not going to say it on the air, because it was very clear that she didn't want to give it to me. And I said, well, when you call in, just say your name. And she's like, I don't want to say my name. I was like, okay, well, I think that's going to really help the reading, as that Deb wants to connect, and names and stuff are a connection to help with the reading and everything else. And she's like, I don't want to do that. If you're going to call in, just give your name, just don't worry about it. Don't let that be a factor for you to not take part. First of all, my show is nothing but a safe spot for all of us to have our beliefs in the afterlife, in how spirit comes and talks with us and interacts with us, who is interacting with us. And it's not the same for every person. Everybody is different. Everyone has a different experience. So it's, more than likely, I would love to believe that millions of people listen to this show. But if you're going to call in and you're afraid that someone's going to recognize your voice, they're only going to recognize your voice if they are into this as well. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about being recognized because you're on GhostBox Radio. The next day, at work, about what we talked about the night before, I can guarantee that is not happening at all. So just abandon all that, put that to the side, and be okay with yourself. Be okay with your relationship, with how much your pet meant to you, how much your loved ones mean to you, and just experience and get that out of the way. So I think that that is really what it comes down to. Now, more than likely, I am singing to the choir here, right? More than likely, the majority of you listening are probably going to be like, yeah, no, I feel that way, or this is my way of, my way of experiencing spirit. It just was really it felt like barriers that someone put unnecessarily against themselves from being able to get the answer to something that they so desired. I mean, if you're crying over it and you're like, it's been a while, but I'm still really, really upset about it, then do something about it. And we had this forum to do that, and that wasn't going to be good enough, like, because they were so worried about stuff that doesn't matter. And